Hi there, Sagittarius, and welcome to your soulmate reading with me, Priscilla V. So, up first, I have for you a Love Fairy Oracle card, and this card basically is going to give me the overall premise of what is going on exactly with the soulmate connection. So, we have here love language, acts of service, actions speak louder than words. Pair of ice skates. A man who looks like he might be in the military or something. Um, so yeah, wow. I mean, obviously there is love in the air. Okay. Be willing to forgive. Ask the angels to clear your mind and body of past pain in exchange for peacefulness and the Hierophant. Interesting. So there's definitely this like theme of peace. There's this theme of forgiveness and the acts of service. So maybe the act of service is forgiveness. Forgive, but don't forget. Let's see what else we have. Okay. Wheel of Fortune. Okay, you could be experiencing some like very chaotic, crazy energy. But then we have the Empress. Interesting. So the chaos and the all that I think is related to the Empress. Like all this chaotic energy I feel like came to you. Like people were like basically asking you to perform acts of service. And you were like, this is too much, like the Empress shouldn't have to like deal with all of this on her own. And then we have the Ten of Swords. Okay, yeah, wow. So, some kind of love triangle here. Angela accidentally marries the gay senator. Okay, all that drama ensues. Oscar is her coworker and is sleeping with the senator. Yeah, there's a little bit of that like drama effect there. Okay, but the Queen of Swords is Angela, which is like mental clarity and seeing things for what they truly are, which is interesting. It's almost like you might have been dealing with someone who wasn't seeing things as they truly are, even though they're in a position where mental clarity is very important. And they obviously were like basically saying, like, I'm not of mental clarity right now at this time. And I'm like, well, this definitely has to do with a woman who's like, I feel like was very overbearing of you in your soulmate connection. The Tower and the Three of Wands. Yeah, like it's all coming down, right? It's all coming down to like what exactly is the truth? Like what are people saying? What are people hiding? And all the truth is coming all at once. It's all about to come down. Yeah, that's not like forgiveness energy. That's not energy of like truth, right? It's very powerful. Maybe the action is to speak louder than words. Maybe the action speaks the truth, and the words are what are just the lies and what are just chaos and what is just, you know, this non-clear example of like what chaos looks like or what reality looks like, I feel like. Yeah, we've got the World here. Interesting. Knight of Swords. Almost like this could be... This is the Wheel of Fortune and this is the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, there was definitely an energy that was trying to cause a lot of chaos for you. Yeah, wow. Knight of Swords. It wanted to... There is an energy here that really wanted to take away from the purpose of this soulmate connection and sort of drive chaos. Like chaos was sort of driving the wheel on this one, and like a lot of chaotic mixed energies that were just trying to cause more, like sort of try to paint this picture of it's a wake-up call to reality, which a lot of people aren't really willing to look at. So you don't have to, but I feel like what your heart is telling you to do is to kind of forgive these people for starting chaos. Knight of Swords. the mental clarity is still coming through here. Okay. The action of turning this wheel of like craziness. And I was just watching The Office too, and Pam made a wheel for to do chores. You know, she's very like the mother of the office energy, is like reminding everyone we got to do our chores. You know, we got to clean up after ourselves. And no one wants to do any chores. So she keeps reinventing the wheel until it's just prizes. And then there's like a very tiny wheel that's the chores. And she says that because the wheel is so tiny and everyone thinks it's so cute, they're not really bothered by doing chores. And I feel like that's kind of what bothered people, is that you just taking a step back and trying to like maintain some level of understanding of like these people are lacking a lot of mental clarity right now. Like Meredith's hair is on fire in this picture. In this image, she's got a bandage on her head. There's definitely a woman here that is just like screaming and vibing for attention. And like these are crises that she's having like in her head. Okay. Yeah, because she's been hurt, I feel like she wants to like take it out on someone. And 8 of Cups, you're walking away from that. Like, I'm not going to be the one that bears the emotional burden and emotional weight of someone else's pain. And this has to do with your connection, because I feel like this chaotic woman that wants to stir up trouble is someone who is getting in the way of your connection, is making chaos where chaos doesn't need to be. Like inserting herself as this like whirling dervish of chaotic energy. And then there's like a younger masculine energy here that's like, okay, I need to take control of this, but like they're not as mature as you would hope. So it's just causing more chaos. When all along you're over here with the Empress energy trying to just say like, look, like if we just do this, then everything will be fine. But it kind of everyone's ignoring you. King of Cups, yeah, someone who can see the emotional truth, the emotional situation behind it, sort of trying to let you know, ease some of that tension, ease some of that maybe like irritation that you're feeling. Like, I feel like there's also someone here who's like not being sensitive, like 7 of Wands, like a lot of people pointing fingers at you, like you're the problem. Okay, when you know you're not the problem. And you have to like stand up for yourself here against a bunch of other people. King of Pentacles, know your value, know your worth. You know, this king, both these kings are just sitting in their thrones, minding their own business, doing their own thing. This one's eating some cake, drinking some wine, enjoying a beautiful sunny day. And this one is sitting by the beach, enjoying the ocean breeze, you know, sightseeing, that sort of thing. This is the energy that you deserve, that you want to be in. You want to be connected to this energy. You're looking for someone who wants to just sit back and relax with you and just enjoy special moments together, enjoy time together, enjoy the pleasures of life together, whether that be emotional, whether that be material. But it's something where there's definitely this chaotic energy getting in the way. Like, I feel like this is what is happening, and this is like what could be happening, right? So it's 2 very different views on what is going on. Like, you want the fire, you want the passion, but you have, you know, you have a woman who's like losing it a little bit here. Okay. And I love Meredith too, because she's like, she's always doing a lot, and she's like behind the scenes a lot, but then she comes up in like these most chaotic times, and she kind of has to deal with like Michael hitting her with her car. She has to deal with, you know, catching her hair on fire because she was drinking too much, or, you know, those types of things. And that when that energy is chaotic and that energy is happening, it draws the attention away from you and your person and the acts of service that your person could be doing for you. And I also feel like your person isn't doing like a lot of acts of service. Like, I feel like And I feel like they are doing acts of service, but it's like more in service of themselves, really, than it is in service of you. At least it feels that way. Um, yeah, Knight of Pentacles. There's another masculine energy that wants to give you an offering, something material here. Nine of Cups. Yeah, your value, your emotional well-being is important here. This is kind of like the universe's way of saying, just, sit still within yourself, within your feelings, within your emotions at this time, and just sort of like reassess sort of how you're feeling and why you're feeling a particular way, and sort of like rearrange things a little bit to where you are feeling better. And I see like it's a beautiful summery day again, and there's a bumblebee here, so I'm getting like queen bee energy again, like empress energy, enjoying this summery, fun-filled, light-hearted breeze, this like fun energy, not so much like a cold energy. Seven of Swords. Yeah, this is probably your person. Okay. um Future version, younger version, it's like the child and the father. Like it's literally like a young child like carrying a sword for his aging father, right? Like he's putting emphasis, the universe is definitely putting emphasis on your soulmate is doing acts of service for like an older man, like a father figure, maybe. Okay. Because they see that their father is aging. And I feel like this woman too, even Creed is in this picture, and he's like, the oldest guy in the office. So I feel like your soulmate is someone who, yes, can portray like a mature, emotionally intelligent, financially responsible older like man, like like an adult. Okay, like I'm talking an adult, they can think with that mindset. But right now they're thinking with a much younger child, inner child type of energy or mentality. The swords represent mental, so they're clearly channeling in this sort of like, okay, well, I'm this person's child, this man is aging, his health is declining, the swords are getting heavier and heavier, the logic, the reasoning, the mental processes aren't like working as they should, really. They're his old ways of thinking are what is what are weighing him down. If he just released this, then it probably wouldn't be such this energy that's happening. Seven of Swords energy, like, but he's like passing these swords down to his son, or I mean, I would think this is more of like a grandson, honestly, because this guy is like pretty old here. But it could, the Hierophant again is this like old man with a long white beard. Okay, so I really do think that there's an older generation that is like, let me pass down my logic and my reasoning and all my mental stuff onto my child or my grandchild. Really, it's like you got to deal with that stuff on your own and not pass that generational heaviness, right? You shouldn't really pass that down. You should fight against that. So I feel like what you're going through right now is like this Empress energy of like loving and nurturing and performing those types of acts of service and like the caregiving sort of aspect. And then your soulmate is someone who's dealing with a lot of like back and forth between adulthood and childhood. Like, what does the child really owe their parent? The child doesn't owe their parent anything. The child didn't even ask to be here. Okay. But there are certain parents that are going to sort of be like, okay, my child owes me now. And they're going to play like some sort of mental games on that. And they're going to use like acts of service. So then the child is pretty much like tired out and worn out by the time they have to do their own work, because they're dealing with what their parents' work is. Like, it's not fair to put that on them. Eight of Cups, kiss the cook, create in a tangle, refuel, and treat yourself. but you're weighed down. Yeah, it's like you're weighed down by these, generational sort of curses, basically. There are generational blessings too, but I think that a lot of older generations might be trying to get in the way of your soulmate connection because they don't have their own soulmate connection to focus on. And I feel like they're also like pretty stuck in like a cycle of choosing to be like negative and choosing to be like heavy and put all these burdensome illogical requests on the younger generation, and I just don't accept that, and I don't believe in that. All that I need comes to be. All that I need comes to be. Yeah. So you don't need to be weighed down by the past, and you don't need to be weighed down by, older generations, disbelief in soulmate connections or inability to want to create that or disregard for that. And then you have in a tangle, I am strong, fierce, capable, and free. You are free to release yourself from this at any time you choose. But you have to choose it for yourself. And then we have create, kiss the cook. It's Valentine's Day coming up. You might want to be cooking a romantic meal for your special someone. You might be creating a meal just for yourself. You might be creating a meal between family or friends. It really depends on what you're doing. But whatever you're doing, though, is like you're letting your creativity flow freely here, and you're letting that form of expression manifest and come through and come to fruition. And that's really what's important here. That's what's really going to see you through. And treat yourself. You're treating yourself. I treat myself to life and am treated well by life. You already know your value. You already know your worth emotionally here. So now you're trying to create that by giving yourself an act of service. You're acting in service of those you love, of yourself. And I feel like there's no strings attached. Okay, there's nothing chocolate spread that reminds me of Nutella. But you're really broadening you're really broadening your sight and your scope to like how do I observe, like, I don't know how to explain it, but there's the 8 of Cups again, and then there's refuel. This is the key thing here, is acts of service are about actions, not words. Okay. And a lot of people are using actions and words to sort of throw fuel on you, to sort of light you on fire, right? To get you upset. But when someone's throwing the fuel on you and getting ready to like burn you at the stake, okay, and humiliate you and hurt you in all kinds of shapes and forms and ways, you are the one that's like, I will be reborn again. Like, I will transform again. I will be the phoenix that rises from the ashes. Like, I could care less what you spend your time doing. It doesn't affect me, right? Because I know my truth, and I know that I'm going to act in the service of my truth. Okay? And the thing that's being sort of ignored here is that people are focusing on really acting in service of the opposite of all of that. They're pretty much trying to cause chaos. They're pretty much trying to cause drama and toxicity and negativity and draw in this narrative of not so good things, not so happy things, not so positive things, and try to draw in a light on that and point out all of the negative. But you're someone who is like, I'm going to turn the negative into a positive by whatever means necessary. And it really does have, I think, a lot to do with like self-esteem, self-worth, self-love, self-respect. I am worthy and deserving of a reward. There you go. Rewarding yourself. Okay. So I feel like there's a lot of people that operate on a very different dimension where they don't believe in rewarding people, where they believe in devaluing humans, where they believe in, bringing people's self-esteem down by any means necessary, by bringing in negative ideas and negative concepts that don't help anyone, and create a narrative of this very negative mindset that you do not want to be part of, and like you basically refuse to be a part of. And at some point, you're going to refuel, and you are going to claim your reward, Page of Pentacles, because you walked away from the emotional imbalance, from the emotional unfairness. You knew you weren't getting the support and the love you deserved, so you left and you went in search of what you do deserve, and you found it. Okay? Because the Knight of Pentacles is different from the Page of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles charges in with an offer, right? Like, here, take it. Don't you appreciate it? Why are you so ungrateful? Right? Okay? Like reversed, obviously. Non-reversed would be like, this is no strings attached, but there are strings attached. This Page of Pentacles is like, if you walk away from these people emotionally and you separate yourselves from them and you detach from it, you will be rewarded. It might not be, $1 million or whatever, but it's going to be what carries you through. And it's going to be what makes you understand that you don't need all these, material things with strings attached, blah, blah, blah. You don't need all these transactional, superficial, one-dimensional type of deals. You can take the real deal. And it might be more humble. It might be less appealing to most shallow people. But you're not a shallow person. There's the catch. And I feel like you're being tested right now. The Fool and Justice. Are you going to take that leap of faith on yourself? Are you going to dive in? Are you going to trust in the wisdom that you have created for yourself? Because that's going to give you the justice that you know you deserve. That's going to balance the scales, and the karmic balance is going to be restored. And then comes in the Chariot, and then comes in the Two of Swords, and the Sun, and the Three of Cups, and there's your celebration. And there's your victory. You are pointing an arrow straight at what the problem is. You don't even need to see the target to know what the target is. You're calling it out. You're like, oh, you think you're going to put a target on my back? Think again. Chariot, charging ahead, black and white, knowing the difference between right and wrong. I think it's really wrong that people want to attack you and, lower your self-esteem and attack your Empress energy, your loving, nurturing, caring side that you devoted yourself to. There's Venus, love, the archetype of mother. Like, it really is a shame, but you are going to still achieve greatness. You are still going to achieve what it is you look for and desire. And a real true soulmate is going to understand that and see that. And Three of Cups, they're going to want to celebrate that with you. The Sun, they're going to make you feel warm inside. They're going to make you want to dong that, that, like, what is this thing? Oh, it's like, it's not a drum or anything, but it's like, if you put on this like vanishing negative energy music, and it's like dong dong, and it's like really obnoxious, but it's very effective, and it really does vanish out the negative energies, and they do leave. And that's what the Sun energy does. It's like, you know what, this person's got to get out, this person's got to leave. And your soulmate is going to be that like dong, dong, like, hello, here I am. You see me. I'm getting rid of all this negative stuff for you. And the Three of Cups, you're going to be able to celebrate with your soul family, with your tribe, with all the people who love you and care about you and support you. And look at this, Six of Pentacles. You are going to get your material wealth, because look at these guys. They're kneeling at your feet. They're kissing the ground you walk on. you know they owe you. They know they're not fooling anybody. And you will get your reward. And you will get paid for all your hard work. Self-empowerment. Empower yourself to ignite inner confidence and achieve your goals. Empowerment, confidence, and strength. Celebrate. Today, celebrate the love you share with those who matter. Celebrate, okay? So celebrate. Today, celebrate the love you share with those who matter most. Okay, Sagittarius. So that's what you're doing. You know, you're celebrating with those people that love you the most, that care about you, that when Valentine's Day comes around, they want to be around you. They want to take care of you and love you and perform acts of service for you and not be part of the chaos, not be part of the drama, and just be focused on love and light and Sagittarius energy. So that's what I have for you. Take care now. Happy Valentine's Day. Love and light always, Sagittarius.